Okay, ciao friends, it's Liz and doing a live, and hopefully you can hear me and there's no issues. I have a wonderful recipe that is super easy, and I'm actually making a slight modification on it, deviating from the way I've done it in the past. My husband had a great idea to add to it, and it sounded great. So, and what it is it's penne with ricotta. Now you can use any type of pasta; it doesn't have to be penne. Linguine would be great. Fettuccine would be great. I have penne on hand, and I think that's a really good one because penne has those little ridges in the pasta, and the pasta with those ridges will help the sauce that we're making stick to it, adhere to the pasta. So I want to make sure my audio is not too loud. I can move it down just a little bit. Okay. And so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start. And all you need, I already have the penne boiling. And really pretty much by the time that's done, we'll be hopefully ready to just mix everything together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix up some olive oil and butter. I'm not using just olive oil. And there's no garlic in this recipe. So of course, feel free to add it. It really doesn't need it. So I'm using my induction burner, and probably one of the best investments I've ever made. I rarely ever use the top of my stove except for times like this. And I did about a tablespoon or so of the olive oil. And then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of butter. And I'm so sorry for any of my dairy-free friends. This recipe is not going to probably make it on your menu, but feel free to watch and enjoy. The rest of us enjoy it. So I'm going to add some butter. I'm adding about a tablespoon, and I'm going to let that cook down a little bit. Oops. And I'm going to slice up the mushrooms, because I want to cook the mushrooms in here. Now, if I wasn't using mushrooms, the recipe would even be easier because all we would do is mix in the ricotta with the Romano cheese. So this is not a recipe where it's just take the pasta and toss it with ricotta, and there you have pasta and ricotta. No, doing a little bit more. This is a really delicious, really kind of a rich recipe. And I think the butter helps with that. It really doesn't need a lot of herbs. It's very simple. It creates a really wonderful white sauce. There's no tomatoes in this. And I'm trying to cut the mushrooms very thin so that they'll cook quickly. And you'll notice that I'm also using the stems. So I'm just doing... You can actually chop this, like dice the mushrooms if you want. I'm just doing the slices because I wasn't even really thinking about it and just started slicing it and figured the thinner I can slice it, the quicker it's going to cook. So if you enjoy Italian food and Italian cooking, or want to learn how to cook some really delicious Italian meals that are super easy and taste amazing, then make sure to subscribe and follow me. I have this going live on YouTube, but I also have Facebook as well, and Instagram. So I'm not too active on there, but trying to. Okay. So far, this is good. And once you start mixing it with that butter and olive oil and the mushrooms, oh my gosh, the flavor, the smell is absolutely delicious. All right. Let's keep that up there. And my goal is to cook this down as fast as possible. So I'm going to use a regular spoon. And you want to make sure it's coated. I'm going to turn this up a bit. Didn't cut that enough. So one tip here is that you want to use, if you can, use whole milk ricotta, okay? If you use part skim, which I know is very tempting to do and trying to cut back the calories and stuff like that, but you're not going to get as creamy of a texture as when you use the whole milk. And this goes with a lot of cooking, whether you're making desserts like cannoli or something like that, where it's a big part of it. You want that creaminess, then you really want to go with the whole milk. So if you can, I think also it just has a better flavor, has more flavor than part skim does. So, but I guess you get used to it. I find that really true with a white pizza was one. My mom made one of my white pizzas, and she was like, "Oh, it didn't have much flavor. It was okay." But I said, "Well, what kind of ricotta did you use?" Well, she used part skim, and she used I hate to say it, but it was an Aldi's brand because I've bought that before, and I was not impressed with it. So I would really recommend that when you use ricotta and you really want lots of flavor, to go with a big brand that is known. So this is Romano. That's what I use. I actually buy it at veggies. It's a big tub. You just get more bang for your buck. And this is looking really, really good. And my pasta, which I forgot about, is definitely done. So I'm going to put this in colander here and let that sit. I'm going to leave some of the water in there. So it's very important whenever making recipes that don't have like a lot of sauce, a lot of tomato sauce and stuff, that you reserve some of the pasta water, because just in the off chance that your dish dries out a little bit, maybe you don't have as much sauce as you thought you would, or you made too much pasta, so it kind of, overpowers that, and it can get a little dry as it absorbs all the liquid, especially if it sits there for a while. You want to add a little bit of water in to kind of loosen it up a little bit and get that sauce moving around again. The problem with using just like regular water is that it will actually water it down in terms of flavor. So when you save some of the pasta water that has that starchiness in it, that helps prevent that from happening. So, all right, fantastic. These mushrooms are about done. So I'm going to really lower this. I want to kind of push it off to the side a little bit. And I have it on a very low setting. And I'm going to add in, I would normally do about a cup of ricotta, but I'm going to do it just a little bit less simply because I didn't cook as much pasta, but just eyeball it. And there's really no need to pre-mix. I guess that'll be all right. What the heck, do a little bit more. There's no need to pre-mix the ricotta with the Romano. So I am using grated Romano cheese. And if you don't have Romano, a lot of people like to use Parmesan instead. That's totally fine. I like Romano. I think it's more potent in its flavor and saltiness, and so for me, a little goes further. So yeah, it is a little more pricier, but I don't use as much of it. So I'm just going to put in a few spoonfuls here. I love the Romano with the ricotta. I do that a lot on my white pizzas. And I'm just going to mix it. And it will soon create, there you go, nice creaminess. So I'm going to mix that together because I want that to be really blended before I kind of push in the mushrooms. And we're going to go ahead and do that. About done. And this looks so good. This looks absolutely delicious. I really like the mix of the butter with the olive oil for this particular recipe. And like I said earlier, you don't even have to use the mushrooms. It's just last minute I decided to kind of change things up a bit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add in the penne. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. Very good. And if you want, when you're done, you can add some little cracked black pepper. That would be good. I think I'll do that. And you can see how nice and creamy this is. And how long has it been? It's only been 11 minutes. So we have someone asking, Maria, what other veggies could you use, asparagus or peas? Yes, I love using asparagus with the ricotta. So I think I actually have a recipe that is very similar on my website. I would also try zucchini. Now my husband differs from his opinion differs than mine on the zucchini, but I think zucchini would be pretty good. I mean, you could even do like a pasta primavera where you do a mix of vegetables if you wanted to. But I think the asparagus, especially with asparagus being in season right now, would be really, really good. So let me grab some black pepper. And in terms of what to serve this with, obviously a salad would be good, a nice green salad. And what other things would go really well? You want to stay away from, oh, you know what you could do is you could actually do some of the vegetables on the side. So you could cook up some green beans, Italian green beans. You could do the zucchini on the side and have that as its own side dish. So that's it. And so let me go ahead and taste it with the mushrooms just to make sure there's no other enhancements that need to be made. I'm not a fan of eating on camera, but yes, this is perfect. This is ready to head on over to the dining room table, which is right over there. I hope you try this. Check out my website. I have it there. And once this video is done processing online, then I will go ahead and put the links down in there. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And I want to thank you so much for watching. And remember to follow and subscribe. Sign up for my newsletter too, because I'll send you more recipes like this every week. So thank you. Grazie e ciao.